Man, this shop is a wreck right now. All right, so what we got here, you see even the inside is rotted out, so I gotta build this piece too. But this is the, ow, that's hot, sharp. This is the piece that we're gonna be building right here. Should be fun. And really, I mean, honestly, the hardest part is this body line. It's got a line here and a line here. That's on the Chevy square boxes. This is an 81 Chevy square box. And this is that one that goes around the wheel well. And to be honest, that's the hardest part. And you just need to do that in a bead roller, or you can do it by hand. I'll show you guys how I form the metal doing that. So see what happens. All right, so the next step is taking this piece of metal here, and I marked it on the back side and I marked it on the front side. And all I did was spray some Dykem fluid on here and then scribe the lines. And then I'm gonna put it in the bead roller, and I have it set up with a tipping wheel, and I'll tip that edge up so that it puts that body line right here in the panel. Let me turn that stupid radio off real quick. It was making a bunch of static. So the panel that I'm building, this is the panel that I'm building right now, and you can't really see it in the camera, but there's a body line right there, and then there's one right there. And you can see how it's folded over. This is the piece that I'm building. So I'll get you all set up, and that way you can see what the heck I'm doing. And I'm gonna run this through the tipping wheel right now and try to put that body line in there. And we'll see how it looks. So, this is what we want here. This is the panel, or it's going to be. So we need to run it from this side. And that's what you want to make sure, so that you don't accidentally do it upside down, and then, you know, you want to bend the panel this way, but you accidentally bend it this way, then you're kind of screwed. You got to start over. So that's why I marked it on the back side. I'm going to attempt to do this with one person. So let's see what happens. Let me turn this so you guys can see a little bit better. I have it pretty tight in that tipping wheel, and then I just real carefully want to try to get it on the line. And you're not really wanting to put a bead line in here. All you're wanting to do is tip that panel up a little bit. And what I do is I do one run through there, through the panel, and then I come back and do it again. But the second one, I put a little bit of pressure so that it starts bending this panel up. And you can see it's already doing that. And it has a nice clean body line on there now. And then I'll do the same thing right here. So you want to loosen it and then tighten it back up pretty tight, and then run it through the bead roller. And I'm gonna do this one pretty fast because I'm used to using this thing, so. And then that way that body line's in there now, and you're not gonna lose it when you start hammering and doing whatever you gotta do on this panel. So the next step is I want this to be a 90 up like this, and you can grab your tool and bend it up, but you can do the same thing with a bead roller. Loosen it up. Get it started in there, tighten it back up. And then what I want to do is I'm going to pull up on this as I'm running it through here. Now, by doing that simple step, it helps it a lot. And then now it's way easier to take your crimpers and bend it over. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my crimpers and I'm going to break that sheet over. And let's see, my other ones are over at the other shop, so kind of a pain in the ass. Because see, what's going on here is this isn't reaching all the way over. So, let's see. I have these guys. I think those will reach. Yeah, that'll work. These will work. Let me grab the other one. And you can see now I'm on the back side of the panel, and all I need to do is just bend it over like this. And the other way you can do that is on the edge of the table. And we could do some of that if you want. Like this. So it's gonna be kind of loud right here. And you notice when I'm using the hammer blows, I'm not going straight down, I'm glancing it like this. That's what you want to do because it seems like it forms a lot better. And then the next thing I want to do is I'm going to take and put, I'll take a dolly and a hammer. And then I'll just run a dolly right into that section so that I can hammer it out and get it where I want it. Because one of the problems is right here, you can see that it comes like this and goes up before it bends, and you don't want that. You want this to be like a nice 90. And that's where the dolly will really help out. And that's gonna be, this is a Martin dolly, which you can use whatever dolly. It could be a Harbor Freight, it doesn't matter. Let's see here. Trying to get some footage for you guys, but man, it's kind of being a pain in the ass. There we go. So I have the dolly on this side, hammer on this side, and you want a pretty good weighted hammer, body hammer, so you want a little bit of weight on there. And then I'm gonna use the old school style where it's a little bit heavier weighted, you know. And then just put the dolly here and hit on the back side of it. Make sure you have that dolly up against that sheet metal though. Now I'll use the corner of the table and I'll straighten this out. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll shut the camera off for that. All right, so after some, hammering it and getting a true 90 on the edge, you wanna lay it on the table and smash it flat just with your hands. Don't use a dolly or a hammer or nothing like that. And then you get that Chevy, let me see if I can get that on camera. You get that loop right here, or that ramp that they have on the Chevy trucks. And then this one we're gonna fold over to true 90 right here, from this body line over. Come on. Smash it flat again. And then I'll use the table again to get this end completely 90. And I'll shut the camera off for that just so you don't have to listen to the noise. Forgot to hit record, but whatever. It happens. But you can kind of see where we're at now. Having this little ramp right here, that mimics that back section of the Chevy square bodies on the bed where it comes up to that body line. And then this body line here is kind of ramped up now. I'm gonna have to sit it down, smooth it out a little bit. And it all comes down to patience, you know, just hammer and dolly and wear gloves so you don't cut your hand like I just did. But I'll keep hammering and dollying on this thing and getting it smoothed out. And then the next step is I need to make this curve right here, it rounds down like this. And I need to make that, and you can see where that is like that. This is just flat sheet metal. And I'll probably do that next. Yeah, this is starting to look pretty good. I have to cut some of this off right here, you can see that. But I'll trim that as I put it on there, and I'll probably put that on there with Clecos and then cut both of them at the same time and then pull the Clecos off, you know, or they'll just come off when I cut it. But that way, this body line right here will be exactly the same. So that'll be nice. One of the things with metal though is when you're doing it, sorry about that. Don't be afraid to overdo it. If you think, you know, oh, I just messed up a panel, don't just give up and throw it in the metal pile. Because like right now I was looking at this and I was thinking that this was 90 degrees square to this panel where it comes over and then drops down, but it actually has like about a 45 on here. So I'll have to bend this down and then pull the other end out a little bit. So I'll work on doing that. And then this ramp, I noticed I was looking at that ramp is way too much. So I need to smooth that out a little bit. It all amounts to patience and just, you know, hammer and dolly work and get it, you know, where it looks really good. And when it fits nice, then I'll get it Clecoed on there and then start spot welding everything. And then it'll be ready for filler and everything else and primer and whatever. But it's going good. All right, well, I'll show you what I got. This is, I got these pieces set on there and everything's pretty much matched up. It needs to get squeezed in here and moved over a little bit and then tack welded and whatever. And then I'll metal finish everything. And then you can see on this side, it's already put on. I need to hammer and dolly everything, metal finish this side too. And then this is gonna get slicked up with some mud. We'll mud it, sand it, prime it. And it's really close right now, so just a little bit more finessing. So when I start doing that stuff, I'll shoot some more video. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and shut off the camera. And I appreciate you guys watching the video. Please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if you want. And stop by and say hi, whatever. And hit the bell, the notification. And to my subscribers, I really appreciate the support. And the people that haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button because we were looking the other day. We have a lot of people that watch our channel all the time, but they're not subscribed. So if you don't mind throwing us a sub, that'd be awesome. Thanks for watching. Body worked and getting primer and whatever. See what happens. All right, so the next thing I got is I need to weld this piece up so that I can trim it so it matches the other side. And then after that, I'll start forming that piece on the back side. Since it's sheet metal, I'm going about a 1/2 inch, throwing a spot weld and then going over to the next side, throwing a spot weld, or I'll go about 3/4 of an inch apart and drop a spot weld. And that's just so it doesn't warp it. And I have a lot of people always asking what sheet metal do I use to match these beds or the early style cars like the 80s, 90s right in there. I use 20 gauge sheet metal. So this is what I did right here. I added a piece here because for some reason, I looked at this, excuse me, I looked at the other side of the bed and I realized that that one over there is cut off also. So I'm gonna do these where they look correct. And then I'll run this line straight through. So, you know, I'll be adding a 1/2 inch up to about 3/4 of an inch right here. And then I'll cut that off. And then take a hammer and dolly and put that body line in there, this body line right here. And then I got a hammer and dolly on this, and you can see some small dents in here I gotta get knocked out. And then after that, then I'll start making the piece for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this piece off now, and wear safety glasses, don't be a dumbass. So that other side was all jacked up. That one's, you know, I trimmed it, made it look nice. And then what I did is I followed this where it comes in about like a 20 degree and then it just goes straight across right here. And then this piece, the original one on the other side was actually longer. So when I cut that one, that's what it was. I was wanting them to match. I couldn't remember what the hell it was. I knew there was something screwed up on that other side though. But now they both match underneath the bed. There's a pinhole right there too. Damn, this thing's all rotted out. And then, so now that these match, I'll start building this piece on the inside right here. And you can see where it stops right here. That's this guy. It stops here and it needs to come all the way up to this and weld to this. And that's kind of a brace. I mean, it's nice and strong. It's really strong, but I think I'm gonna build, this piece first. I'll start getting that all cut out. So there you go. I just cut all the old crappy rust out. And that's this piece here. So now I need to start building this piece. You see it's gonna be a difficult piece because it rounds, and then plus it has that body line. So I'll have to figure this out. It's not gonna be fun. So the next thing I did is I took a piece of 20 gauge sheet metal and I broke it on the end of the table. So it was just a 90. And then I put it in the stretcher and I stretched this side and you can see the shape that it gave it. And then I test fit that piece in there to see if that was gonna work, and it did. This was just a piece of scrap. So then I have this guy, and this is already made to shape right here, and then I made sure and trim the edges so that it fits in there nice. On this line here, I gotta cut off so that it matches inside that bed, and it fits nice in here. So I'll get this piece cut, and then after I cut it, I think what I'm gonna do is, here, let me shut the camera off and I'll show you what I'm doing. What I'm doing is I'm gonna fit this piece in here. And like I said, this isn't no show job. The guy doesn't want to spend a bunch of money, so this is something where we're blowing the thing together as quick as we can. So I'm gonna do the best I can with what I got and try to keep the hours down on this. So I'll get that welded in there, but before I do that, I need to put this, this body line in there. And then what I'll do is when this is sitting in there like this, well anyways, I'll come in here and I'll trim right here. I'll take a magic marker, a Sharpie, and I'll trim around that also so that when I weld, I can, flush fit weld that in there, that piece in there. Holy crap, it's hotter than piss in here today. I'm sweating my ass off. It's like 90 degrees in the shop, and then it's like super humid also. Super hot outside right now, but anyways, but you can see the shape that it has, and that matches that radius right there. So I'll get it welded in there and see what happens. So this is a homemade hammer that I made a while back. And what I did is I just ran this hammer right here on this edge where I put that Sharpie mark. And it gave me this shape here. And then I'll just refine it. I'll keep tapping on it until it's nice and smooth and, planish it out so it's completely smooth. But this is just a slug, an old piece of metal that I have with a lip on it, and that's all I'm using to shape that piece here. And I put it in here and it fits perfect. And you can see that it's gonna match up nice when that's welded in there. And then I have a lot of trimming and whatever to do. But that's one of the things what I wanted to show is, you don't have to have a bunch of expensive tools to do this kind of stuff. Most of the stuff is hand shaping as it is. Like this piece I made by hand. This piece was pretty much made by hand except for the edge where I rolled it on the bead roller on the tipping wheel. And, tipped that over 90 degrees. And then, I have a shrinker stretcher, but you don't need a shrinker stretcher. You don't need a tipping wheel. You can do this stuff by hand. I've showed in my past videos where you can shrink and stretch with a hammer and, get these shapes right here. And, you don't have to have hundreds of thousands of dollars and, tools to do this kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm going to do this as a part 1, and I'll try to do a part 2 tomorrow when I'm in here working on it. But I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. It's like super hot before I kill over, but I appreciate you guys joining me. Thanks for watching.